In 2020, the global community will mark the 25th anniversary of the Fourth World Conference on Women, as well as the adoption of the Beijing Declaration and Platform for Action of 1995. A 5-year milestone will also be reached towards achieving the Sustainable Development Goals of the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. It was in the light of this that the United Nations Women and the Office of the Senior Special Assistant to the President on SDGs recently committed to a strategic partnership that will further deepen efforts of Nigeria towards the attainment of the SDGs, with particular focus on Goal 5, centered on gender balancing and reduction of inequality between men and female.
In 2020, the global community will mark the 25th anniversary of the Fourth World Conference on Women, as well as the adoption of the Beijing Declaration and Platform for Action 1995. A 5-year milestone will also be reached towards achieving the Sustainable Development Goals of the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. It was in the light of this that the UN Women and Office of the Senior Special Assistant to the President on SDGs recently committed to a strategic partnership that will further deepen efforts of Nigeria towards the attainment of the SDGs, with particular focus on Goal 5, centered on gender balancing and reduction of inequality between male and female. In what appears as a pivotal year for the accelerated realization of gender equality and the empowerment of all women and girls everywhere, the year 2020 will also see the hosting of the 64th session of the Commission on the Status of Women, which is scheduled to hold at the United Nations headquarters in New York from 9 to 20 March 2020. Representatives of member states, UN entities, and ECOSOC-accredited non-governmental organizations from all regions of the world are invited to attend the session that will focus on the review and appraisal of the implementation of the Beijing Declaration and Platform for Action and the outcomes of the 23rd Special Session of the General Assembly. The review will include an assessment of current challenges that affect the implementation of the Platform for Action and achievement of gender equality and the empowerment of women and its contribution towards the full realization of the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. But the Nigeria government and the UN Women are already looking beyond the CSW as they strategize for more strategic partnership. Deputy Executive Director of the UN Women, Asa Regner, gave more insight during a consultative meeting with the Senior Special Assistant to the President on SDGs, Princess Adejoke Orelokwe Adefulure.
And I know that you are already in close contact and working well together with the UN Women Office in the country, and I'm very grateful for that. Thank you so much for that. And obviously you are responsible for implementation of and the work around the whole Sustainable Development Agenda, and all the goals support each other. We have them here, I just saw that. And for UN Women, being the UN, we are also responsible for all the SDGs, but obviously with a special focus on number 5, which is women's and girls' situation. We see from the New York perspective that everything that happens in the countries which moves the agenda forward is really, really important, and that's why I'm really happy to have this opportunity to listen to you about the initiatives, the actions that Nigeria is taking, because I think that the world really looks to Nigeria. It's such an important country. Whatever happens here will both move lots of things in the world, because it's such a big country, but also to inspire and give hope to other countries and women in the world. So I just wanted to point at one thing where I hope we can work well together. And maybe the second question to you, how you see implementation and how we can be most of help for you when it comes to realizing and implementing Goal 5 in this country's context. So the first issue I would like to raise with you and inform you about our plans to next year celebrate thoroughly the so-called Beijing Agenda.
The entire goals of 1 to 6 of SDG talks purely on social development that concerns women directly and indirectly. So when you say no poverty, issue of poverty, it affects men, women and children.
Yes.
And you cannot isolate women and children. You cannot separate. You cannot separate mother from her child. It is very important. It's very crucial to me. And I'm ready within the power that the ability that I have, God help me, to support anything that has to do with women.
Regner also spoke on the He for She project, an initiative aimed at mobilizing the menfolk to support the goals of gender equality.
This has been a very successful way of opening a conversation about men's role to achieve gender equality, because it is not only about women and girls. I mean, the women's movement already does so much. Women are really taking a lot of steps, so men also have to support. So I think the He for She has been, or is, very important to put the focus on that. I think the next step is also to reach all men with these messages, to support in solidarity women to achieve their rights.
Princess Orelokwe Adefulire restated the commitment of her office to keep finding solutions to issues impeding the development on women and girls, adding that with the important role women play in every society, there is need to properly empower them and integrate them into national plans, projects and policies.
If a woman is empowered, not only his family, extended family will be empowered and everybody will be happy.
Mrs. Orelokwe Adefulire also briefed the visiting UN Women team on some initiatives and actions taken by her office which are directed at achieving the SDGs, especially on Goals 5 and 10.